Coach, I guess just what's your overall assessment of how the season's gone so far?
It's okay. 4-2. 4-2, right? 4-2. So, I mean, we got some things to work on. I mean, it's early. So, I guess that's how you look. That's how you look at it. It's early. Early in the season, we got a lot of things to work on. I want to say we had the same record at this time last year, if I'm not mistaken. But you know, we got some things to work on, and we just got to work on them.
Who do you say, you know, you got things to work on? What's the emphasis? What's Cal's emphasis right now?
Well, our biggest thing is to get everybody together, get everybody on the same page. You know, we had a lot of guys miss a lot of time, and that hurts you, especially when they're important to the team. So, you know, biggest thing is let's just get all on the same page. Let's get back to, you know, taking care of some of the details that we sort of missed from guys being out and all those things like that. I think Cal did a great job of having guys understand, hey, this is how we got to get back to doing things we want to do, and just really getting guys back in tune with each other.
Bruiser, you have a lot of guys that are starting to get healthy finally, and now back into practice, playing together. What's that cohesiveness look like now? For how long are they now?
I think, you know, we had some time off since the last game, so Cal really emphasized about getting back to some basic stuff this weekend, really working on us, you know, getting us back on track with each other. And I think that was important. You know, we played 2 games where our 2 games that we lost. If we make some foul shots, it's a different outcome. But we weren't together, and that comes through practice. Then actually we went and played a tough team on their home court, and we didn't play well, and we got beat. So, you know, it's about us coming back, getting ourselves together, because we knew we needed to get that time, get those reps in with each other, check out different combinations on the floor, because that's what you lose when guys not there. So now you lose, you know, having different guys out there. Certain guys have different responsibilities when this guy's not in the game and that guy's not in the game. And if you don't practice them, that's why you look the way you look sometimes. So we had to get back to that a little bit this week, and I thought that's what we did from practice this week.
This year's team being more experienced of a team than is usually in place at Kentucky, how has that maybe helped recovering from some of the losses that you've had so far?
I mean, I don't think that really makes a difference, whether or not they're young or old. It's about learning. Some guys learn differently. When you're a coach, you have guys you can sort of film, they're fine. You have guys you have to physically put them out there for them to learn it. And I think that's all sports. So I don't think it really has a lot to do with whether or not we're experienced or we're not. We still incorporate some guys who haven't played here. So you're putting them in different situations, and sometimes you're asking them to do some things, some games that you add a person, you're not asking them to do those same things. So those are the types of things that happen in those types of situations.
I think it was after the North Florida game, Cal mentioned like the belt that after wins, like the most impactful player gets. So I'm curious, how did that come about, and have you seen that maybe increase competitiveness, you know, between guys to want to get the belt after wins?
Well, it's always fun for the kids. You know what I mean? You know, you give out those types of things, and they start to feel themselves like, all right, let me get the belt. I think that's the biggest thing. We sort of talked about that in the summer when we got back from the Bahamas as a staff. Let's give them something that they can feel as though they get rewarded for having good games, and not just because it's scoring. Like the most impactful goes along with other things: rebounding, assists, steals, whether or not you're in the right places at the right time. Those types of things like that. So that's pretty good. And I think the kids, they love that type of stuff. So if you look around sports, a lot of people are doing it. I actually did it a lot in the pros. Pro sports are starting to do the same thing also. So that's one of the things that we looked at. So I think that'll help out the community. It'd be a good contribution to our mental state going into games.
I guess who decides it? Is it Cal? Is it you guys as a staff?
No, the staff does.
Yeah.
You know, so the staff goes in. It's kind of quick, but we go and we talk about what we think is most impactful.
Bruiser, what have you seen from Kason Wallace so far?
I mean, he's been good. Same thing you guys been seeing. So he's been good for us. Still a freshman though. You know, he still goes out there at times and makes his freshman mistakes. He's a guy that can be in the wrong place sometimes, but I mean, his effort is unbelievable. His toughness, and he's learning. He's going to get better. But you talk about putting a great effort out every time and doing the things you ask him to do. I mean, he does an unbelievable job of it. And that's why he's one of the best freshmen in the country. His motor is unbelievable. But like I said, he's still young and he's still got to learn some things, but he comes in every day, he's trying to get better. So we know he's going to be even better than he is right now.
Coach, you talked about you guys not playing together that much yet, and guys in cohesion together. A team like Bellarmine, they look like they've been together. They got veterans, and it's a disciplined team. How important is a game like that for you guys going into December to just be defensively disciplined and kind of get that side? Sure.
Well, they're going to test our discipline, that's for sure, defensively, because of what they run. I don't want to say they hold the ball, but they're going to work the shot clock. Our discipline on defense, our communication on defense is going to be important just because of the type of offense that they run. So, it's a good test for us. We worked on some things, and the defense was one of them, and hopefully we're able to carry it over to the game. And this is a good test just because of the system that they run and what they do. So we'll see whether or not the things that we worked on this weekend, come out in the game. Not only just defensively, but offensively also too.
Bruiser, as someone who's been around the game for a while, what do you make of the parity in college basketball right now? You guys have 2 losses, a bunch of other ranked teams have 2 losses. Just what do you think of that?
I'm glad y'all figuring that out. Because y'all think we lose 2 games and the season's over. But I mean, it's one of those things where is who's more ready at the beginning. This is the one thing about basketball. It's a long season, and it's not always about the start. It's about the finish. As the season goes on, you try to get better. That's one thing about basketball because you have so many games to try to get better at. So when you look at it, hey, we always talk about this. We beat Kansas and North Carolina by a combined 50 points last year. They played for the national championship. We talk about that all the time, about how when you looked at those teams, everybody talked about how they were going to struggle. Those guys ended up playing for the national championship. Kansas won it. So it's about us progressively getting better every game, progressively getting better in practice every day. And you see that in some of these things. Some of these teams that didn't look good now, they'll look good later. That's the coach's job to figure out what's the deal and to move it forward. I remember after we beat Carolina, they were killing Hubert Davis at North Carolina. Then all of a sudden, he's the greatest guy in the world because his team played for the national championship. But that's how it goes. That's fans. That's what fans do. But in the end, it's about trying to progressively get better. And sometimes it takes time. Kyle warned you because one of the things he saw for not having guys out there was, man, we don't have the people out here that we've been having. And your practices look different. And that's why he said what he said about, hey, it's going to take us some time. We're not going to be the same team now that we're going to be down the road. Because one, you look out there and practice, and a lot of guys that you're dependent on, they're either on a bike, they're getting treatment. That makes a difference. It's a lot of good games. Some teams surprise some teams. But it's all about progress. You start getting in the middle of January, heading towards February, and then you'll see what teams have done that and how good they're doing.
Bruce, you guys played Gonzaga, Michigan State, Michigan, Kansas, UCLA. I know it's Bellarmine. I know they beat Louisville. How do you convince these kids that this is Bellarmine? You've got a K on. They're going to come after you.
One, we know the teams that from the state will play us like. I think we've watched, one of the things the kids do, they watch the games. So they know that coming in, we better be on top of our game. They've been in, although they've lost a game, they've also been in games with teams. So, and we know coming in here, it's going to be a little different. And even the teams that's not Bellarmine, Michigan State and Gonzaga, they played well against us. So we know every night that the team, because we're Kentucky, that they're going to come and play against us every night. So, but we know we better be ready for these teams. And I think we've been good in these types of games.
Bruiser, you and Coach Cal go back to UMass together. How much have you seen him grow as a coach to the point he is now?
The guy's in the Hall of Fame. I didn't think he was going to be in the Hall of Fame when I was with him at Massachusetts. But he is in the Hall of Fame, so you saw his growth. But I think, Cal does what a lot of coaches don't do, and that's that he changes with his teams. And that's hard for coaches, especially when you're a college coach. You usually have your system. And although Cal has a system, I think he does a great job, and that's why he does a good job with bringing in young players and having them have success, because he does a great job of adapting to the people that are out there on the floor for him. I think that's the biggest thing, and that's hard for coaches. Believe me, me myself. You want to be able to do things a certain way. Now you try to recruit to that, but I think Cal does a really good job of just having a team and putting it together. And I think he makes the adjustments as you go along, depending on what the players that he has out there. So it's not necessarily just a system that goes on, because he still has a system, but he does a great job of adjusting his players within the system so they can perform better.
Bruiser, what kind of role do you see Damian having on this team over the course of the season, or just what has his adjustment period been like since coming back?
I mean, it's tough. I mean, when you go through a situation like that, even as a coach, how do you deal with it, with him? So we just tell him, take your time. I mean, take your time. We know athletically what he does, what he can do. Just ease your way back. You know what I mean? A little bit of it is you got to get a little focus. What happened to him is tough for adults. So, you're asking for him to do something. Okay, go, just turn it off and go out there and play good basketball. That's hard. I mean, that's hard. And our thing to him and Cal's thing to him has always been, take your time, work yourself back, get yourself comfortable, and I think gradually you'll see him starting to come